Hi there, welcome to this video. I'm Martin Rapley, and in this particular video I'm going to be talking to you about changing your mind. Sometimes it's not until you actually get going on your project do you realise that you actually haven't come up with the best scheme in the first place. It's not sometimes until you've built some walls do you realise that something doesn't quite fit as it looked as though it might do on the drawing. Sometimes we need to walk into the space and feel it in 3 dimensions to understand if it works. And in reality, there is nothing wrong with changing your mind. The thing about changing your mind, it's all about how you manage that process. And sometimes the management of that process goes a little bit further than just the technical side of it. Sometimes you have to almost be a little bit of a social worker and persuade your builder that he needs to take apart something he's already spent a few days building and build it in a slightly different way, in a different location or to a different dimension. So the thing about changes is it's really comes down to making a decision as soon as you possibly can, and making a decision with all of the information you can possibly get in front of you. So if you do want to change your mind, if you need some work taken down and something rebuilt, have a conversation with your contractor to understand the impact of that on the remainder of the project. Ask the contractor, how much might it cost to do this work? What other works are affected by this change? And importantly, how long might it add on to the time frame for the whole project? With that information in front of you, you can now make an assessment as to whether that change is worth making. Be very careful of builders that say it won't cost much. Often it won't cost much forgets the fact that there are other knock-on effects. If we move that door, now the radiator doesn't fit, and the plumbers already run the pipeworks to that radiator, and so's the electricians already run the cable to the power socket or the light switch or something like that. Ask builders to look a little bit deeper, give them time to go and talk to the other specialists they're working with to see that there's no knock-on effect. If we move the door, now the radiator doesn't fit, where's the radiator going to go? Maybe there isn't another location for the radiator. So really delve deep into your decision and make sure there's no knock-on effects, and make sure that the builder is discussing everything with you, rather than just the obvious bit, oh yeah, I can easily move that door over a little bit, I'll have it done by lunchtime, as they so often will. Make sure when you're talking to your builder that you're asking them for as many different solutions as you can get from them. In reality, there's frequently a really cheap, quick fix to a change. There's frequently the Rolls-Royce fix, and then there's often an in-between. Make sure you're aware of all of those options. You may not want the quick, cheap fix because it may detract from the quality of the property. You may not in turn want the Rolls-Royce finish, which was how it would be done if it was done from scratch. You might be happy with some kind of medium bit in the middle. So discuss those options with the builder and be clear which is the one that you actually want him to follow, the method that you want him to adopt. And be aware that sometimes there could be a shortcoming. It may be something where the builder says, well, I can do it that way, but you'll always get a crack in the plaster by doing that. Or I can do it that way, but remember now the light switch is in a bit of a funny place for the use of the room. So as long as you're aware of those shortcomings, and if you're happy with that, then perhaps take the middle ground. Many builders will completely overlook the time impact of a change, so always be sure that you ask about that. They'll forget that the material they need to buy is perhaps not available straight away, Perhaps there's a 2-week lead in for something that they've got to buy. And until they've got that material, they can't carry on with anything else. Don't overlook the cost of delay. And you may decide that whilst the idea to change something around is really good, if it's going to add 2 weeks onto the duration of the project, and remember you've perhaps got your project held on bridging finance, then the cost of that finance and the cost of the change may mean that it's not actually worth making that change. Just like when you do an appraisal, when you're buying a property, you've got this little change. Make sure you do a full appraisal and you understand all of the ramifications of making that change. And I said at the start of the video that you may have to be a social worker. Builders don't like taking things to pieces. Builders don't like changing things. So tread carefully with them. Ask them if they can do you a favour just to change this. Would they mind if they could just modify something? And tell them that you are aware that there is a cost of doing that. Don't try and get them to do it for free, because they'll only cut a corner somewhere else. Tell them that you are aware that as a result of this change, the project is going to run a week longer at the end. And then confirm the whole thing back to them. Perhaps put it in an email to them, confirming exactly what you want them to do, exactly what the cost of that work is, and what the implications are in the longer term. If you put it all in an email, then both parties are aware, just like we talk about when we're putting contract documents together in the first place before the builder even starts. Put this instruction in an email, make sure that everyone's clear. You wouldn't be at all surprised to know that sometimes it gets put in an email, the builder comes back the following day and says, actually, I've forgotten to tell you about this, this, this and this. Get that sorted out before doing the work, and then you won't have any surprises at the end. Remember, this extra bit of work may well cost you additional money, and you might need to take that money from another part of the scheme. So the earlier you know about it and the impact of it, the earlier you can make those decisions elsewhere. Please do leave any comments below if there's anything more I can help you with on this particular topic. As ever, like and share the video, and I'll catch up with you on the next one.